Hey guys, my name is Joel Cleaver and we're at Jim's HQ and with Don McKinnon, who is the Jim's Test and Tag and Fire Safety franchisee up from the Abbey Wodonga Way, and he's with us today at Jim's HQ to give us a bit of an assessment about what the actual Jim's National Office, which looks like most traditional offices, could actually use by way of your services.
Yeah, look, I guess people would probably be surprised around the actual services that our guys and girls could offer. So, you know, obviously there's the obvious things like some electrical testing and tagging of computers and that sort of thing. You know, notice there's a fire extinguisher here. This is something that our guys or girls could do. You know, we've got an exit light up here, so you know, again, our franchisees can inspect and maintain emergency exit light systems. You're probably going to have like a first aid kit maybe in the kitchen.
Let's go have a walk around then. Let's have a look. So we'll take the walk. So traditional office here, and we obviously see we have had Jim's Test and Tag in here because we do have some labels on the back of some computers, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every single thing.
And I guess, Joel, some of the things with office environments, people think they're sort of pretty safe. But, you know, if you look down here, this is kind of a classic. So we have sort of stuff, you know, literally on a floor where people are going to be sitting down at every day, potentially kicking with their feet. Power boards under desks are a classic. You know, you'll have multiple devices plugged into a power board. And as we get into the cooler months, probably the classic is people plugging in the little blow heaters, which will draw a lot of current, tend to heat up.
Yeah, which a lot of the girls back here do as a big no-no. They have their heaters underneath there, and we're going to make sure they keep them off.
It gets a bit cold.
And that's my desk as well, so hopefully I don't kick it.
Yeah, no, it looks okay.
All right, so this keeps going up here. So where's the first aid kits as well?
Yeah, so they will inspect and maintain first aid kits, obviously supply first aid kits.
Yeah.
Usual, we've got sort of a little kitchen area in here. So again, you know, you've got kettles, toasters, microwaves, fridges and that sort of thing. Your first aid kit might be hidden away.
It's right behind you there, I think.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, again, you know, that's a service that our franchisees provide. So, I guess what we try to do, or the benefit to a business such as Jim's is, Jim only would have to manage one relationship or one contractor to be able to getting those multiple services taken care of. So a lot of businesses find that a lot easier than getting 4 different contractors in or service providers to offer all of those different things.
So traditionally, do most businesses have to do and get separate providers in? They might get one for fire safety or one for the first aid.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. Right. Yeah, it's not uncommon. So that's where our push has been, to try and become that one-stop shop for small, medium and large businesses.
And how do you find clients react? Obviously you have the name Jim's Test and Tag and Fire Safety, but they find that you do all these other things as well.
Yeah, at first they're probably surprised, but I guess we've been going that long that they do see us as a trusted brand and they're actually happy to engage us and provide those extra services.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll go back out here. So what's the traditional quoting method like then? Obviously, we call the number 131546 or go online. So what happens when you come into the workplace initially?
Yeah, so look, it really depends on the size of the environment. You know, a lot of our guys have been doing it for a long time, so they might not necessarily have to come and look at the office space. They might have a chat to the person and go, okay, well, how many workstations have we got? And they can get a bit of an idea. You know, they might clarify, are you using desktop PCs or are they laptops? So again, it can just educate the customer around potentially how many items they might have, because a customer will obviously or often look at a computer and they'll go, oh, I've got one computer, and they're thinking one tag. But in reality, you know, Bev's computer here, there could be 10 tags there with a couple of monitors and that sort of thing. So we sort of like to be upfront with that sort of stuff. We don't want to win the job on a price point where the customer thinks they might have 50 items, but we know they're going to have 200 items. So we sort of like to be really upfront with that so that there's no surprises at that invoice end.
And Jim knows how important testing and tagging is, because for many of you who don't know, this actual whole place burnt down a while ago due to when one of the computers or the workstations was one that got left and didn't get tested and tagged, I think.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate story for Jim, but it's one we actually love as a business because we don't mind telling it. But yeah, one of our guys was actually in tagging the office, and he'd got to a point last thing in the afternoon and knocked off for the day. And from my recollection, it was actually a computer monitor that he hadn't got to at that point. And yeah, it had a fault, started a fire that night and burnt the place to the ground. And Jim actually gets his office tested every 12 months. So it just shows that even though it's been done you know, regularly, those faults can appear and it can become a problem.
That's true. And for anyone who does come to Jim's Training HQ up where you do the training in the lecture theatre, you can still see some burn marks, which is proof of this whole place literally did burn down. But Jim actually understands how important test and tag is. As you said, every 12 months on a regular interval basis, he gets it done. Now let's talk about the actual fire safety side of the business, which is sort of a newer thing to Jim's Test and Tag. I found out before from one of the other franchisees, Paul, that actually there's a time interval for the fire extinguishers, which you have to have done, which a lot of people don't have done.
Yeah, so with your fire safety, so your extinguishers, blankets, hose reels, all those sorts of things, they have to be inspected every 6 months. There's no if, buts or maybes around that. And like most pressure cylinders, an extinguisher is a pressure cylinder, so they have a 5-year pressure life. So at the end of that 5 years, you're either looking at getting them, pressure checked, or what we tend to do a lot of the times is almost like a gas bottle. It's a swap and go sort of setup. So we sort of take the old one out, send it off for recycling, and place a new one in there with warranty, and it all starts again.
Cool. So thanks for that, Don, and give them a quick little tour and what you guys can expect as a customer if you do engage Jim's Test and Tag and Fire Safety. It's very easy, 131546 or jimstestandtag.com.au, and we all know how important Jim loves it because he's been on the end of not having
been on the wrong side of it.
Been on the wrong side of it. So guys, make sure if you are a workplace, get it done. 131546 or jimstestandtag.com.au. So thanks for that, Don.
Beautiful. Thanks, Joel.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye.